Michael say he's calling in. So fast recording. Tell story. Right? And to me, there's this one story that I feel is very relevant to all of us in times of great changes like today. Right now, take a look. Isn't that a beautiful bridge? Okay, now that bridge has a name. Okay, it is actually called Choluteca Bridge. Now, built in the city of Choluteca in Honduras, this area was really well known for its extreme bad weather. So when the government decided they wanted to build a new bridge, okay, so they engaged a very famous Japanese construction company. Now, this company is really well known for building the toughest of bridge that survived the wildest of hurricane. Well, in 1998, guess what? Hurricane Mitch hit Honduras. Well, many bridges, roads, and buildings were destroyed. Now, however, Choluteca Bridge remains standing. Well, a true testament to Japanese engineering technology. However, there was just one small problem. Now, while the bridge stood firm, the roads on both sides of the bridge had completely vanished. Now, Choluteca River had just decided that it was going to carve its way around the bridge. Now, what had once seemed like the state-of-the-art construction, well, could not adapt to the new environment and very quickly become useless. Well, literally overnight, the best-in-class bridge became completely of zero value. Now, it is now called the bridge to nowhere. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what's the moral behind the story? Very simple. Change is really unpredictable. And if you don't embrace and adapt to change, you too can become obsolete and you too can become of zero value. Now, for those who know me, they call me Kit, but yes, that's my full name. My name is Hoi Kit. Now, most people just call me Kit for short. Now, I too have my own Choluteca moment. Well, that must be about like 14 years ago. I still remember that year very distinctly. It's 2007. Now, it was right smack in the middle of the world financial crisis. And that I learned a lesson that stayed with me all the way till today. Well, you see, I was a typical product of our education system. And what was that? Already study hard, get good grades, and with your good grades, get a good job, and you work hard, get noticed, you will get promoted. And voila, you climb and climb and climb until you're at the pinnacle of your career and then you retire. Now, my mentality back then was very straightforward. As long as I work hard and if I choose the right company and the company was doing well, all will be fine. Now, 2007 certainly proved me wrong. Well, I learned that when change comes, it does not care how well your company is doing. It doesn't even care how talented or how experienced or how skilled you are. Swoof. Change just sweeps in like a mighty hurricane. Destroys everything that's not fitting to the new environment that it is creating. Now, I will say I was lucky to survive that hurricane with my job still intact. Many of my friends and colleagues did not. Well, not because they are not capable, but simply because they do not fit into the new environment. In fact, they actually have a new term for it. It's actually called collateral damage. Okay. Now, although I was lucky, I was a few lucky ones to keep my job, I learned a very deep lesson that day. Now, when change comes, it comes suddenly and no one is invulnerable. You may think that you're so valuable that it makes you indispensable in your company. Well, my friends, that is absolutely not true. Okay, my friends, changes like what COVID-19, that started 2 years ago have brought about can make you irrelevant overnight, simply just like that. Now, just after that crisis and after that moment of realization, I knew I had to prepare myself. Well, I started reading many self-help books. I attended many courses. And very important, I actually found a mentor named Robert. Now, for those of you who are familiar with who that gentleman is, well, Robert is the author of the bestseller book, Rich Dad, poor dad. And one very important concept that I took away from Richard was this thing called a cash flow quadrant. Now, what I realized that, after understanding about the whole cash flow quadrant, wow, I realized I was smack right in the middle of what we call a employee quadrant. Well, I was simply exchanging time for money. Well, nothing wrong with having a job, right? I mean, it does bring in the money. But what I learned from Robert was that if I were to withstand all future hurricanes, I must find a way to quickly move myself from the employee quadrant to the business quadrant. Now, what is the difference? In the business quadrant, as what Robert described, I would have a business system, and I would have people that I can leverage on to work for me and together with me. Well, I decided there and then that I must find a way to become a business owner, which is the B quadrant. Now, the universe is a very interesting place, right? When I made up my mind that I was going to do that, the law of attraction brought me a possible answer. Voila, through my Facebook, I reconnected with an old friend who I admire for a long time. I've known this friend for like 27 years, but I've kind of lost contact with him, and we were just connected over Facebook. Now, this gentleman, his name is Alvin Young. So it's one day I saw Alvin posting his social projects on Facebook. Well, it was a life-changing initiative that provided financial education to the children of poor farmers in Thailand. Well, I simply love the idea. Well, I immediately supported the project with donations. Now, I've always aspired to live the kind of life like Alvin, right? Traveling to third world countries to do good, changing the world for the better, or changing lives for the better. But guess what? I was stuck in my job. I never have enough vacation days. Now, at that moment, I was super curious as to how Alvin was able to earn his living while spending so many months every year doing projects all over the world, right? Ranging from Thailand to India to Africa, right? Well, guess what? I decided that I was going to ask him out for dinner. And it certainly was a life-changing evening for myself. Well, that evening, I learned from Alvin how he built an Asia-wide network enterprise. And it was this enterprise that actually provided him with both financial and time freedom. Well, that night was like the aha moment for me, right? I couldn't sleep because I was wondering in my mind, wow, is this that possibility for me to cross over to the business quadrant? And that was really when I started my Avita journey with Alvin. Well, today, I am an Avita network leader and entrepreneur. And what do? Well, I lead professionals to channel their wealth of corporate experience on an entrepreneur adventure of wealth, health, and wellness. Now, let me just share this story that I came across earlier in the year. Okay, it mentions that the government policies must manage the K-shaped recovery of what we call the post-COVID-19. Now, a K-shaped recovery occurs when, following a recession, different parts of the economy recover at different rates, different times, or even at different magnitudes. Now, business like those in the technology, software, digital, well, guess what? 2021 was a boom year for them. Right? For many of you who realize, even companies like Zoom, which we are using right now, wow, boom big time in 2021. But many other industries like travel, entertainment, hospitality, F&B, well, right till today, I have friends in the F&B, and especially those in the gig economy. They are finding it very challenging to survive. Even with the government subsidies and grants, they could barely keep their head above water. Now, I'm sure that some of you out there are also feeling that way too, and are probably open to looking at what other opportunities that may be out there. Well, if you are now in what we call the upper K, congratulations. However, be conscious of the difference between an employee versus being a business owner. Now, if you feel that you are in the lower K, I also say do not despair. maybe this is just a sign for you to seek a new opportunity, maybe an opportunity that will bring you to even greater heights, and soar like an eagle. Like everybody says, in a crisis lies an opportunity. So, ladies and gentlemen, which side of the K are you on at this point in time? Now, today's talk, right, you're saying, what is an entrepreneur? Well, if you look at a very simple definition, it just means an individual who creates a new business for themselves. Well, an entrepreneur basically bears most of the risk and also enjoy most of the rewards of a business that they set up. Well, it can sound pretty scary, well, coming from somebody who's been there, done that, I can tell you it is pretty scary, especially if you have always been an employee. So the question is, how can you become an entrepreneur and what type of business is suitable? Now, is it possible that we can do a business in this new normal with minimal financial risk? Well, after this evening, ladies and gentlemen, I wish for all the new friends here to get that aha moment. And just like me, you may find the possibility of yourself, taking up this challenge to become an entrepreneur and set up your own business to become a business owner. So let me share how I analyze the Avita business platform and hope that this sharing can be useful to help you too when you do your own evaluation process. Now, this is how I analyze a business opportunity. Now, you may use the same principles too for any other business opportunity you come across. Now, this is where certainly my engineering and corporate experience became really useful. It allowed me to evaluate the Avita opportunity in a very systematic manner. So just let me share with you 3 basic areas that I evaluated. Now, first, like in any other business, there must be a product. The product can be a product like a goods, or it can be a service. But very important, what I learned, from many of my business mentors is your product must be a consumable. Because if your product is not a consumable, after you have closed your first customers, you're going to wait a really long time before you close another customer. So if your product is a consumable, that's where you can get repeat business. And of course, the product must meet the need of many people. You also must fit a growing trend across the world, and better still, if it's evergreen. And of course, the product must be effective, safe, and of the highest quality. Now, second area that I was very particular about was really the business model. Now, a business model must be able to provide me with leverage. Now, the business too must be able to scale up quickly, and it's best if the business is borderless. In fact, my dream was to grow a business, well, just like the international franchise of McDonald's, Jollibee, but for those of you who have kind of gone into some research on that, you know that, to open a franchise, actually costs quite a fair bit of money, okay? Now, one last thing, which I've learned from that many years of working in corporate is, it is important to know a company and a culture. Now, of course, I am always interested to know who is leading the company and what is the vision of the leadership of the company. I also want to know who will be the people who's working together with me, mentoring me. I really want to understand the value systems, because I know that I must be able to identify with these values if it's going to be a sustainable business. Now, to me, all these 3 aspects are important elements to building a sustainable and meaningful business. Now, I still remember my first meridian therapy workshop. Now, remember I met Elvin for dinner. And, I was remembering, I was asking what Elvin was doing. And Elvin said, well, why don't you come and attend one of our workshops and find out for yourself? So he invited me to attend, well, so that I can experience it for myself. And during that workshop, one of the things I was totally amazed at was like, wow, how can a 5,000-year-old TCM preventive care therapy be designed to be so fun, so simple to learn, but yet so effective? Well, that's when I caught onto the secret. Well, it was the power of the Avita TCM herbal essential oils. Now, created by painstaking research by professors from a well-known university in Taiwan called Yangming Taiwan University. It was simply like bottling up qi or energy inside a bottle, making it very easy to use and hence so powerful. Now, the next day, guess what? After the workshop, right, I was so excited to try out my new learned skills. I brought my oils to a potluck party, where I started doing, shoulder gua sha for a friend. Well, to my surprise, all my friends were there at the party, well, including my Malay and Indian friends. They were simply delighted after experiencing the gua sha. They all, after that, wanted to attend the workshops. Wow, I tell you, it was then that I smelled the potential of this set of TCM oils. Well, boom. That was really how my Alvita business took off, starting with these TCM herbal oils. Well, with these oils, what I saw was a new TCM blue ocean just out there waiting for me to conquer. Now, I was even more excited when LV introduced me to the star product of Alvita. Well, this is Saligen from Switzerland. Now, I come from an industry where I deal with cutting-edge technology, and this is what I saw in Saligen. I saw a world-class cellular regeneration Swiss technology, a technology that's able to help people slow down aging, a technology that can prevent degenerative illness. And since the launch of Saligen in Singapore way back in 2009, well, thousands and thousands of people around the world have benefited from it. Well, celebrities love its anti-aging effect. Well, the elderly love the youth-enhancing effect and the vitality that it gives them. And even sportsmen have benefited from quicker recovery of injury. Better still, in these times where COVID is prevalent, Saligen has helped many to recover, quickly from from COVID, and also strengthen the immune system of many people, preventing them from, strengthening the immune disease and helping them to, be standing better. Now, what I found out was Saligen is for everyone and anyone who cares to slow down their aging, prevent degenerative disease, and live life to the fullest. Now, I was wondering at that point, wow, if this thing does work, I can really see how astronomical the market potential is given today's fast aging population. In fact, it is $1 billion global market. So what did I do? Well, like any good engineer, I decided to put Saligen to the test. Well, not just on myself, on my family, on my 80-year-old mom who lives on her own in Ipoh back in Malaysia. Well, meet my mom. Her name is Karen. Now, my siblings and I saw that after so many years of taking Saligen, right, she has actually grown younger. Right, she has better vitality, she has better energy to enjoy all the things that she loves doing. At her age, she can still play mahjong, she does tai chi, and guess what? She still drives a car, and she loves traveling and going out with friends, and enjoying life. And for that, I am really grateful to Saligen for keeping my 85-year-old mom healthy and happy. Well, especially in these times when the Omicron is so prevalent. I'm just so happy to be able to provide her that quality of life, for the rest of her life. Now, in fact, I would say that Saligen is a priceless gift that all of us children can give to our aging parents. Now, meet my good friend, Jermaine. Now, Jermaine is a TCM physician. And her late mom, at 92 years of age back then, was suffering from many degenerative illness and generally old age problem. And Jermaine decided that, she was going to give Saligen to her mom. Well, guess what? Saligen certainly gave her mom much better quality of life all the way to her passing, last year. Well, I'm very grateful to have Jermaine as really one of my business partners today. Now, she is one of the few TCM physicians who practice integrative preventive care, where it combines the best of the East and the West. And Jermaine is now leveraging on the Alvita business platform to bring TCM preventive care to the entire world. And guess what? Through Jermaine, I was introduced to this lovely lady called Daphne. And simply because of Daphne, my network expanded into Cambodia. Now, Daphne is a good friend and ex-colleague of Jermaine for more than 15 years. She had been running her own traditional business in Cambodia for more than 10 years. And what happened was her daughter Nicole suffered from chronic insomnia and anxiety. And Jermaine, being a physician, was very concerned. So together we put together a solution for Nicole. With the use of the Avita, TCM oils, and Selagen, Nicole resolved her insomnia issue and was back to her old happy, bubbly self again. Guess what? It was then that Daphne sensed the potential of this business. And so, being an entrepreneur, Daphne decided she was going to seize the Avita opportunity and brought it to Cambodia. So remember, so it was Jermaine who knew Daphne, and then Daphne was the one who then actually brought the business into Cambodia. Now, that is where I truly learned about the power of the network marketing business model. Now, guess what? I do not know anyone in Cambodia. Hey, I've not even visited Cambodia yet. But thanks to this business model, I was able to expand into this beautiful country. Now, thanks to these two wonderful lady partners of mine, right? Now, if you recall earlier when I said that Jermaine was a TCM physician, well, we knew each other for more than 20 years. Well, in those days, we were very active, taking part in all sorts of outdoor adventures, climbing mountains. And simply because of this business, we reconnected again because Jermaine attended one of our workshops. Well, even though she was a TCM physician, she fell in love with what we are doing and decided to join me in the business. And because of that, Jermaine is now leveraging on this platform to bring TCM to more people. And then similarly, it was through her I was connected to Daphne. And Daphne now has brought the business into Cambodia. And together we have brought Meridian 101 and the TCM oils into Cambodia. And from there, we really plan to expand to the rest of Indochina. Now, we have also brought in Selagen and other Avita products to bring good health to the people of Cambodia. And this is a picture that you see of Jermaine and Daphne in 2019. Both of them conducted the first ever Meridian 101 workshop in Cambodia. Super proud of them. Now, we had a group of very enthusiastic mix of locals and expatriates, and many of them have now joined us as partners, okay, to become entrepreneurs in their own right, okay, in both their wellness and wealth business and journey. I simply love my Cambodian team, right? They are committed in learning and applying whatever they learn. I'm always motivated in supporting them and committed to work with the team and the partners in Cambodia and let Avita create a better life and a better future for all of them. And it was through Daphne I got to know Florabelle. So let me introduce you to Florabelle. Florabelle works in Cambodia. And she is a good friend of Daphne. And Florabelle first attended a workshop in Cambodia. And she's currently back in the Philippines. And because of that, our network business now has spread into Philippines. And guess what? In Philippines, Florabelle, with her knowledge of TCM, helped many people. Well, look at that cute teenage lady there named Eva. Florabelle shared with her how to use Faucetier. That's one of the TCMs to resolve her acne issue. Wow, give her back her confidence. Well, guess what? During the COVID, Florabelle also taught many of her family and friends how to do meridian therapy. And this is how Francesca benefited from the knowledge that her mother learned from Florabelle. Now, during the lockdown last year in Philippines, it was not very convenient for them to go see a doctor. And Francesca had a very high fever and a very painful stomach. Well, mom decided to apply Avita oil mix on her chest, her stomach, and her back. And guess what? After just 1 hour, the temperature reduced down from 38.5 to 37.5. So she did not go and see a doctor. But best, her tummy ache was resolved. Now, since then, whenever Francesca feels uncomfortable, she will always ask for the Avita oils to be applied on her. Now, let me just share with you how my network went down under. Well, in Singapore, we organize a lot of activities. Here we do activities for companies, organizations, clubs. And this instance, I was conducting a meridian therapy workshop in Singapore for a social club. And one of the participants in the workshop was this lady named Eileen. Well, Eileen liked the workshop very much. But more important, Eileen saw the business potential of the wellness business. So when an opportunity arises, okay, Eileen introduced me to her cousin named James, and James has resided in Sydney for many years. Well, James was a Singaporean who migrated to Sydney. And of course, through Eileen, I got to know James. And then James learned about the business model. And guess what James sensed? James sensed the untapped potential of the Australian market and decided to join me in the business. Now, distance was not an issue as technology had made it possible for us to conduct our business even through online. Now, we are very proud that James had now replicated the business model and is now doing the same thing over in Sydney. Just last week, we conducted the first Sydney Kwasha party, So together with James, we want to grow the business with more like-minded partners from Sydney. And I'm sure, we will then grow into the rest of Australia and the rest of Asia Pac. Now, unlike a conventional business, we expand our business through our network and word-of-mouth marketing. We promote through social media and we connect from one friend to another, not limited by physical borders. In this modern world, all of us have network all over the world. So in this way, we build up a never-ending global business network. Now, very interesting. Despite growing an international network, we do not pay any rental. Well, in fact, we do not pay any overheads or salary. The company itself supports us with admin support, logistics, and accounting. Now, guess what? For an entrepreneur like me, this is a very powerful business model that needs minimal financing or minimal financial investment to get started. But yet, the growth in it is unlimited, simply beautiful. Now, besides Celogen and the TCM oils, Avita also have an amazing range of very unique and niche products that can help to improve the health of many people. Well, this includes NGF or natural growth factor, which targets the health of our neurons or brain cells, and this can help many people with neurodegenerative health conditions like dementia, Parkinson, Alzheimer, and of course we have things like matrix cell, which is designed to help ladies, do breast cancer prevention. And we have a very powerful live biotics, which is a probiotics with a patented bacteria that helps to improve your gut health as well as your liver health. And of course, our latest product from Switzerland, Salova, which helps the body to remove visceral fats and improve the heart condition. Now, all these products target a very big growing market throughout the whole world. Now, how big, you might ask? To be more exact, the global wellness market that the Avita products are suitable for is simply a staggering $4.5 trillion. Even if you just take 0.1% of it, you know how big that market is. Now, some of you may be wondering how did Celogen fare, during these challenging times when COVID. In fact, 2021, to my surprise, was a very busy year for myself and all my business partners and even the company. Celogen is thriving in these challenging times because why? It's able to help the body to strengthen the immune system. Now, we all know that the only true defender against the virus and whatever variants it may be it Omicron, Delta, whatever, is really a very strong body defense, right? Now, these are just some of the individuals who had contracted COVID, and then Celogen had helped them to recover very fast and minimize the effect. Where people from US, from Philippines, many doctors, and in fact, we even have this gentleman from Indonesia, who has really benefited from having Celogen protect them. Now, what I simply love is that Avita is a Singapore company. Now, for those of you who do not realize it, Singapore is a premium brand. Now, Singapore companies have a reputation for trustworthiness and high integrity. In fact, this has helped me open many doors, when I venture into a lot of the Asia Pacific countries. And then especially now that I expanded into the rest of the world, when people hear that you're from Singapore, there's this automatic trust that comes with it. Now, I was very curious as to who is the visionary person behind setting up Avita. Well, meet Miss Li Xiangying. Now, Miss Li is the founder and CEO of Avita. Now, all of us call her Miss Lee. Now, she really inspires me with her motto. Her motto is very simple. Avita is set up to provide for a better life, for a better world. Well, I'll tell you, that two lines told me a lot of what really matters to her and the reason and the purpose behind Avita. Now, of course, nothing beats personal experience. And of course, when I had a golden opportunity to travel with Miss Lee, on a trip to Taiwan in 2017, I brought my mom along, okay, because she loves traveling. And what I realized was, throughout the trip, Miss Lee always took time to have a word with my mom and ask about her welfare. In fact, she actually treated my mom just like it's her own mom. Now, this motherly love, taught me a lot of things because that was how Miss Lee looked at all of us, okay, all of us who are in the Avita family. It really touched me greatly. Now, personally, I believe a leader who cares is a leader who we can count on through thick or thin, good times and bad times. Okay, this is not the leader who will leave you floundering and then, when times are bad. So I'm very sure with her at the helm of Avita, right, this is the place where I will make my millions and more. In fact, Avita is like family to me. Now, I'm someone who loves traveling. I would love to have an international family in my network. And Avita certainly gave me that chance. With countries that's within our network, we are still growing. Guess what? We are talking about a global franchise, and we are talking about a market size of 700 million people. Wow, I smell, man, this is my opportunity to grow my global Avita network franchise. And all I have to do is just to connect friends, share this amazing opportunity, and then support and work with them to succeed in this business. Well, just like how Alvin and many of the senior associates here and leaders had supported me wholeheartedly. Now, let me share with you how I got started. I started in 2016, and this is where I'm now and where I'm headed to. Now, there are really just 7 ranks in the Avita business. The first 3 ranks, as what I've shown you here, are what we call the VIP rank, Silver, and the Gold Associate. Now, the promotion from a VIP to a Gold Associate is merely automatic. It's just based on basically accumulated purchases. Now, what I want to bring your attention to is the next 4 ranks. Now, these are what we call the business builder ranks. So they are, starting with PD, the Platinum Director, VP is the Diamond President, PA is the Pearl Ambassador, and CA, our highest leadership, is the Crown Ambassador. Now, all these 4 ranks, why do we call them unnamed shareholders? Because all these 4 ranks are entitled to share, to do a profit sharing in 1% of global sales. So like we are, if you think about it, we are just like unnamed shareholders in the company. But what was more exciting was for a corporate person like me, right? When I saw that whole structure, I could immediately relate the Platinum Director to somebody like that, of a CEO of your own company with your own team of partners. And as your team grow and grow larger, right, the Diamond President, the Diamond President is like that of a country CEO. Wow, the Pearl Ambassador rank is something like the regional CEO, and of course the Crown Ambassador is like the global CEO. So while I wish to waste no time in building up my Avita network, I invested in a Gold Associate position, or what we call the business startup rank. And while holding down a full-time job, I worked my Avita business with a full-time mentality. Now, very quickly, I got promoted to become a Platinum Director, and then I achieved my first baby step to be a CEO of my own network. Now, likewise, I am very excited to be working with like-minded partners to help them all achieve their own CEO dreams. This in turn will pave my way towards 2022, where I am really looking forward to challenge for my Diamond President and achieving it. Now, for those of you who are ready to embrace change, for those of you who want to thrive in this new normal, and especially for all of you who aspire to be the CEO of your own global network, I invite you to come and get started with us today. Now, what really impressed me, right, when I joined the company and it was really the comprehensive coverage of the Avita education system. This, in fact, to me was one of the key to building up a very successful business. Because the education system doesn't just cover individual competency, knowledge, or skills. It also covers a lot of things like team effectiveness, communication, and leadership skill. In fact, we just finished a fast track coaching lesson spanning over 5 lessons just yesterday night. I'm so excited for all those who joined the lessons and kind of got started with us. Now, I personally have been transformed. And I also witnessed many of my own team members undergone what I call metamorphosis. From being a very shy caterpillar, wow, to blossoming as a confident, colorful butterfly. From they say, oh, I cannot do this. Well, from this cannot do, now they like, come, let's go for it. A can-do attitude. You can't really find that, elsewhere, right? Now, this education system has been really helpful to help many of my partners and myself to grow and thrive in this network. Okay. Now, for many of you may not realize, personally, I see Avita as much more than just a global business that will make me millions. I really cherish Avita for surrounding me with like-minded, positive, can-do entrepreneurs who really encourage each other on. We work together as a team, we lift each other to greater heights. Now, Avita, I would say, is really my second family. Okay, a family that works hard together, we have fun together, where we champion meaningful social projects together. In fact, what we do is really come together to co-create a better life and a better world. Now, I know that tonight I do not have time to go into details. Hence, I'm really inviting all my friends here who would like to understand this business a little better. Do join us on the 15th of Jan, where we will be hosting our Entrepreneurship Leap Seminar, where you will be able to understand more in detail and assess for yourself whether, this platform is where you are going to be building up your business. And rather ask your friend who have invited you how you can sign up for this event. Okay. Now, my parting shot this evening is really this advice from my good friend Richard. Opportunity favors the bold. Now, if somebody offers you an amazing opportunity, but you are not sure whether you can do it, well, say yes first, then learn how to do it later. When Elwin first offered me the opportunity in 2016, I said yes. I learned. Well, I built and I achieved my platinum directorship in 2017. Well, guess what? My yes has set me on the path to be the next Richard Branson of Singapore. Today, your friend who cares about you has invited you here to evaluate the Avita business opportunity. Well, are you saying yes? Now, I would now like to invite each and every one of you to a breakout room where you can then ask, get to know us and get to ask the leaders more questions about what this opportunity was about. And at the same time, really get to know us and listen to our experiences. And because we have people from very diversified background, ranging from lawyers to scholars to businessmen and all sorts of people. Okay, so you're welcome now for a wonderful session in the breakout room. Hang in there, you don't have to do anything. Elwin, are you ready to zoom us all out to the breakout room?